By Jeebus, they're multiplying. I found 3 more over here on this area I hadn't explored, and then, when I looked off in the distance, there's 2 more over there! What the hell? This is way more than 12. At least in the immediate vicinity, and I thought I was missing some. I think I have way more than intended. This will bring my total doggo number up to, instead of 12, to 15! Okay, come on, turn around. Notice me. Notice me, senpai. Stop pooping in the water and come here. There you go. Alright, take your fruit, man. Join the army. Doggo army! Good boy. Alright. I've got a pure copper node, making at least 120 copper sheets. I've also got a buttload of Caterium being produced into quickwire, at least 400 of them. Put together into 4 assemblers, and we've got enough for 20 AI limiters per minute. And that is one great way to start Caterium. Hi there, my name's TheTrueNev, I'm the only me there is, and welcome back to the Satisfactory non-series, episode 11 this time. Where, as you can see, I've already started work on the Caterium factory. Now, because I still don't know exactly all the requirements, I'm still not gonna advance too much in this. For now, just create the AI limiter so we can keep advancing in the MAM. But it's a start. Now, for today, I have a very simple plan, and that is to both complete this, as well as begin work on a quartz processing factory over yonder way, as we saw a few episodes ago, just a little ways past the gunpowder factory. There's one more thing I'd like to get to in this episode, and that is the spires. The transport spires. Massive spires that will let me transport my way across the map, using hypertubes of course, and the place I'm looking at right now is where the first one will go. Now these things, as I've been calling them, as I've been thinking about them all this time, have been in the planning stages for the longest time, waiting for the current milestone, the jetpack. I can now accumulate the materials. I should have actually all the materials ready. I just need to go fetch them to get the milestone to start working on that. But before all that, you know what time it is? That's right, it is rifle time. We have the materials, we've had them for a while now for the rifle cartridges. Actually, since last episode, I just didn't get around to it. Let's just get that out of the way, 3 seconds. But more importantly, and even better than that, we have the rifle, baby. We have the materials, let's get to it. As soon as I can craft it, I will. That will only ease in going towards the quartz, which is surrounded by 2 massive spitters. One more thing I could and should start working on, but I can't exactly promise I will, is, well, that was a failure, is upgrading this oil rig to accommodate the things I already know I can do, like packaging things like fuel or whatnot. It's not entirely necessary at this point in time, but what I should do, since I already unlocked it in the last milestone, put up some fuel generators. I'm not running out of power yet, but I get the feeling I will soon, especially if I keep adding more and more factories. That being said, I have enough power to hold me out for the foreseeable future, meaning like 1 or 2 episodes from now. Point being that, if I don't get to it in this episode, in one of the next 2 I probably should and will get to both putting down some fuel generators here, as well as, you know, properly organizing this area for what will really come in the future, trains. And now that we have the rifle, we can really mess things up. Sure, I'll need to first get a nice production line of blaze going, but just knowing I can make it already makes me happy. Also, I should try making blade runners. I run around a lot. But before any of that, because there's always a but in my sentences, let's get this going as well. Oh yeah. Here we go. It's been so long waiting for this. And luckily I have a fuel depository ready to fuel you up, baby. Boom.
R&D inflated your pocket dimension and has provided a jetpack, which operates on oil-based fuel, for increased navigational capabilities as well as odds of survival.
Thank you very much, Ada. See you in a moment, pod. See you in a moment. Glad you don't crash into the space elevator, by the way. And with that, I can't get gas mask yet because I don't have fabric, but I have a workaround for that. It'll just take some time. In the meantime, all I can really say is the last milestone is the one I have to get next. Trains. And after that, I will be forced to work on phase 3 of the space elevator, which will be a massive massive project in and of itself. Like I mentioned last time, I have to search for a good area full of nodes to start working on producing the things I need for it. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. For now, let's just select that milestone, have that up there ready as a reminder, and yeah, let's get to work. It's beautiful seeing everything work. Nothing delaying, nothing stalling, everything working according to plan. Now, while I let the AI limiters build up here, let's keep going on to the quartz part, shall we? And what better way than by... well, I'll probably have to make a few cartridges on my own, but by testing this puppy out. Oh, I missed you. I really did. But that's not all. Let's go for the twofer, shall we? The very first body part. Boom! With this, I can now run faster, jump higher, and land softer. At least while I get the materials to make the jetpack, shall we? 150. That's the exact amount of bullets I could create with the resources I had in hand. Will it be enough to take on the two gigantic spitters over by where the quartz is? No idea, but the only way to find out is to go now. Excuse me! Alrighty. Let's reload this baby for the first time and woo! Already angry at me, huh? Alright then, fine. That's how you want to play, that's fine. Where'd you go, eh? There you are. Ha! All it took was one clip. We'll be fine. Come here, buddy. I see you. Beautiful. Huh. Turns out I over-exaggerated with my bullet amounts. That's okay, that means we can finally start this up. And maybe soon in the future, one day, when I have the jetpack equipped, because I already made it, and I'm not busy building factories, I can explore a bit of the map. See what else there is, for example, in this direction. Because even before Update 3, I never actually checked out this place. I only whizzed by. Let me just take care of one last spitter, which I wanted to take care of a long time ago, but didn't. Which is the one right here next to this here yellow slug. Where are you, buddy? Buddy? Buddy, there you are. Ah, you're kind of small, that's cute. Oh, hello. You're like medium-sized. And now you're dead. Excellent. And with that, and this, and you know what, sure, why not, this too. Let's get to building the quartz part of my factories, shall we? And after a bit of construction and placement, as you saw, I finally got my preliminary quartz factory going. As you can see, the quartz is coming in here, popping up from under the floor, all 240 of them, and they'll be split evenly into 120 and 120. 120 going into 3 constructors making pure quartz crystals, which don't have much use, but I have enough use for them with just this much. And the other 120 going into 6 underclocked so that the amount fits perfectly constructors making silica. Again, both of these don't really have a use for me just yet until I unlock more of the research, but this is a start. Fast forward a bit, and here we are, in an almost complete quartz processing factory. Now, I'm not going to go through all the things like this manufacturer right here because it has more to do with the creation of cartridges for the rifle. As you can see, this manufacturer goes out all the way back over there. I'll cover that in a later video because I actually can't get any of that going without first installing the trailing technology and getting rails and things all the way over here to, you know, transport the rubber and all that. But for now, as you can see, I've got some iron processing over here. I had to overclock my iron ore in order to get it going. Part of it goes up here, the other part goes over to this part of the factory, where in conjunction with part of my copper processing, which is pretty massive over here, we get some reinforced iron plates, along with what will be coming in the form of quartz crystals, as well as some leftover wires from all this processing over here of copper. We have enough to make an overclocked 200% of 2 crystal oscillators per minute, even though this doesn't really reflect it right now, but it will as soon as everything is plugged in. I left this unplugged in on purpose, as in, you know, no materials going anywhere, just so we can get this started properly. As you can see, it's a pretty big spaghettification we got going on here, but I managed to get it all working real nice and dandy, with plenty of walking space. We go down this elevator, and I made a few modifications since the last time I showed you, in the last clip that is, to this area. Now we have an even number of constructors, both making quartz crystals and silica, and over there we have copper processing. I left this space open over here because I get the feeling that I'll have better use for it in the future, but for now, I've got some concrete being made in these 2 constructors, as you can see. Also, I like the idea of having this thing going through my factory instead of building around it, so I made a little hole for it and extended it out that way. I think it adds a little flavor to the factory, don't you? Let's get this plugged in so we can actually see how things work. We're gonna start by actually doing this. This one over here. This one over here. And 1, 2. This one over here. Now, I'm not going to use silica just yet because I have no use for it anyway. Maybe in the future. But for now, I might as well get it going, right? Switch that over there. Switch this over here. This one over there. And this one over here. Finally, because I have a total of 45 and 45 between all 4, or rather 22.5 times 4, which is 90. Conveyor belt Mark II to connect over here. Here we go. Next, the copper. This going over here so we can see some iron being produced as well. And there we go. Everything's already plugged in, set up. Items, materials going in, being processed. All we need to see now is, of course, not the game freezing on me, but how everything processes even further. Now, the iron is obviously going to take some time doing, so let's actually watch the process from up here. Beautiful. With that, we should start seeing the first of several crystal oscillators being made, so that I can get the next upgrade in the MAM. And all is going well. Now, before we transition into the last part of the episode, which may end up being a little short, I'm not entirely sure at this point. It's been a lot of clips I've recorded, taking a bit of my time, of course. But, oh, there it is. It's working. Let's do this. Jetpack. Oh. Oh, yes. This is the last thing I needed in order to feel powerful, and now I do. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this. I love this game. Okay, With the jetpack now equipped, I can start building the tower, a massive tower I have in mind. And for that I need to go fetch some concrete. So while this works, I'll be building, and I'll see you back. Or, no, I won't be building just yet. I'll see you at the base where I'll detail the plans as I go up, and then I'll go up. And so here we finally are, after a long time of planning and after a long time of actually waiting on just the jetpack, I can finally start making my Hypertube Transport Spire thing. And so the idea I have is that I'll have a Hypertube that will take me from this entrance up the middle shaft, and the actual tower will be the outer shell, as you can see here. So basically it'll be, this middle space will be completely empty, and the surrounding area will be the tower. Now, as for the design I have in mind, it'll go something like this. Every 4 blocks, or every 4 foundations, we're gonna have some nice decorative design. These spear-like things that will end in points, and something like this. Now I'm gonna repeat this pattern on all 4 sides, and hopefully we'll get something like, I'm gonna say Aku's towers. You know, Aku from Samurai Jack, though I can't really remember anymore if this is anything like that, but I like this design, I like where I'm gonna go with this, so I'm gonna see how high I can go. If the sky limit is still at about 542 foundations high, or about 2 to 3 kilometers high, then cool. If not, then I'll go as high as I can go without breaking the map or without breaking visibility on the rest of the land, and I'll go from there. And if you're building up a sufficient height, I've found the perfect place. Up here, roughly from the point I started to appear, that's 360 meters up high. I tried a little bit higher, but then a dense pink mist covered the land, and honestly going lower wouldn't really have helped me because I need to be able to see out over the world, so this is the perfect height. Low enough that I can view my entire factories and relish at how they look from up here, and honestly they look really nice. From up here though, everything looks really small, but also tall enough that I can cover the entire map. I can see everything. And also, forget what I said about the map breaking, because that's just always gonna happen, no matter the height. So, you know what, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, we've got a platform. This long extension over here is because it will be a really big platform. Basically a hub. A hub-spire tower thing that will help me to transport large pieces of the map without having to worry about going through my entire maze of buildings and all that. I just come up here, transport to the next spire I need to get to as soon as they're built, and so on and so forth, and we will be on our way. But anyway, now that we're up this high, time to build the rest of it up. So, I'll go fetch the concrete, and here we go. And let this be the only time, or one of the only times, when there's actual clipping in my bases. Purposeful, on purpose, actual clipping. But now that the spire is done, let's give it a whirl. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, looking good. Oh, okay, this is fast. This is very fast. Holy crap. That's so fast. Huh. But I'm perfectly alive. Totally fine, yeah. Crashing into glass doesn't hurt anybody anyway. Now let's try going back up. And this is not as impressive. It's actually pretty slow. Oh dear. Well, this does bring me to the next and final point of this video, which I was going to cover in probably another video entirely, but I might as well introduce it now. And that is that I have learned of the existence of Hypertube cannons, which is essentially just putting several entrances together to create a massive push, one after the other, after the other, after the other, which I'll have to experiment with on a separate video, But for now I'm thinking that that would be an easier way to get up here, or a faster way, rather than waiting for this to gradually push me up the tower just to get up here. Now that the spire is finished, the first one that is, I can end this episode. Sure, I didn't put up all the walls or the roofs on the Quartz factory, nor the Caterium factory, but they are well on their way. And with this tower, and with my jetpack, I'll be able to soar greater heights. I'll be able to connect this spire to the oil rig, for example, which is where the next spire will be, as well as from this large top platform, create multiple hypertubes that will let me descend onto specific areas. So for example, if I wanted to reach my hub, I could. If I wanted to reach the weapons factory, I could. Heck, even if I wanted to get to steel without having to go back down the tower and through the entire current pretty noobish hypertube system, then I could do it from up here as well. The possibilities are limitless, and I love the way this came out. It really is nice. It really goes along with the vision I had, especially that little twirly-do to get back down the spiral. Beautiful, beautiful. But anyway, that's all for this episode. In the next episode, I'll probably get around to fixing up the oil rig as well as building the next spire, simply because, as tedious and as seemingly time-consuming as it was, the truth is, the spire took me about an hour to build, every single little detail, including the hypertubes, so if I just replicate that over there, I should be swell. Other than that, we need to start doing packaging, and since I've let enough time pass, I know I have enough computers and heavy modular frames already built up, so I can actually get the last milestone of Tier 6. After that, well, like I mentioned before, the future is uncertain, but I know I have to search for the next big area. Now, where the pyramid was in my previous playthrough, there are many pure nodes, and I do want to use that area, possibly to make a building, a large, tall, skyscraper-like building, full of factories, very reminiscent of the actual pyramid itself, but not, you know, pyramid-shaped. Other than that, well, the entire world is limitless, and I just gotta keep looking for nodes, keep battling creatures, and keep finding good areas, because I know there's more than one where I could just as easily make a whole bunch of steel. For now, the focus is steel. Steel and more steel, because if I can make motors and rotors and all those little things that I'm currently only making down at my steel factory, but in greater quantities, as well as the requirements for the space elevator, then I will get to Tier 7 and 8 soon enough. But for now, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Satisfactory non-series. I leave you with this view. If you liked it, then please thumb or so with that like button down below, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button for some sweet notifications. But as always, I'm the only me, so you be the only you. See you in the next episode.